Hello my bunnies, it's Tiki Strinkets here, and today I have for y'all another polymer clay tutorial. If I sound funny, I have an ulcer under my tongue, and I can't talk that well right now. It hurts really bad. Just talking right now is hurting, and I'm gonna look like I'm drooling, or my lips are gonna be moving funny, but just deal with it. I'll try to make this intro short. Today we're going to be making one of the brand inspired creatures, which this was supposed to go up last week, but I got too busy, so I did the ring tutorial from last week, which was the bunny, plush-like bunny ring. If you haven't watched that yet, go ahead and go check it out. It's the last video I uploaded on my channel, and if not, you can check it out under the playlist jewelry. And this is the completed piece for the brand inspired creature. This is the Doritos inspired creature, and it is a lion, obviously. And I think he came out super cute. It's not wanting to focus, but it never does when I'm this close. Yeah, that's somewhat better. But either way, as you can see, I did the Doritos logos on his thighs, and it's hard to see it on the board since he's sitting on it, but the Doritos logo is also on the board. And I did blue accents, and I also did red because I couldn't decide which Doritos product I wanted to be the highlight of this. Sorry, the lighting was bad. So I figure nacho cheese and Cool Ranch are probably both just as popular. At least I like both of them equally. So I put them both in this one piece. And I think he came out super cute, and when I sit him next to the Cheetos Puff Dragon, they look so good together. I mean, like, seriously, I love them together. I know I didn't do a giant Dorito like I did with that one, but if you can't tell already, his mane is made out of miniature Doritos, which I think came out pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. I don't know, I was just inspired for his mane to be Doritos. Oh, along with his tail being a Dorito, obviously. I think he came out super cute, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Sorry it went up late, but sometimes I get a little busy with stuff, but hopefully this one will go up on time as scheduled usually. And for next week's video, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'll either post about it on my channel, or you'll just have to come back next Friday night or Saturday morning to see what it is. I always upload Friday nights, but if you're already asleep because it's really late, just check it out the next day. Alright? I'm going to let you guys go because my mouth is hurting and I still got to record the actual narration voiceover. Love you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye, my bunnies.
Alright, for this tutorial, you're going to need red, white, I think it's turquoise color blue from Sculpey 3, and soft chalk pastels. First, we're going to start with the red, which you don't have to use this brand. You can use whatever you have on handy. That's just what I had at the time. And we're going to start with the largest ball in the middle. This is going to be his torso, and I pre-rolled all the other balls I'd need. First, I start by pressing it down. First, I start by making a teardrop shape, and then pressing it down against the work surface. Then, to make the top flat as well, I cut it off with an X-Acto with a blade, period. Then I put a toothpick in this torso for stability, and then I moved on to this ball, which is the head. So I rolled it into an egg-like shape. And then I held it with my left hand, and using my dominant hand, I pressed down near the top and made an indentation like this with my finger. That way it kind of caves in where his eyes are going to be. Next, I used this heart-shaped clay cutter, I was going to say cookie cutter, and cut out the little mouth that he has at the top, and then I carved out the rest with my X-Acto blade. Next, we're going to make the lion's tail. I hope I didn't say dragon earlier in this video. I didn't think I did. But, you know, whatever. For the tail, I just rolled it into a long teardrop shape, cut off a good chunk of it, made it about an inch long, and the flattened part that I cut off, I stuck under his little bottom and just curled it ever so slightly. Next, we're going to go on to the two balls I had near the front of the desk, these two right here, and these are going to be his feet. So you're going to want to roll these into very chubby teardrop shapes, like so. And then after that, I pressed them down gently with my fingers so that the tops would be more rounded and the bottoms would be completely flat. Then I took my X-Acto blade and just indented 2 lines on both feet to make it look like he has 3 tootsies, cat-like tootsies. And then I stuck it on the side of the body. You can use a little bit of glue here for stability, but they stuck pretty easily. Next, we're going to go on to these 2 balls right here, and these are going to be his thighs, or his upper legs, whatever you want to call it. I just pressed down both of them nice and gently so they'd stay round on the top but be flat on the bottom. They both look like this once I was done, and try to keep them about the same size. Then after that, I just stuck them on top of the feet and pressed them up against the body so that it would look like this. Make sure you press them nice and tight so they'll stick really good to the feet and the body. Next, we're going to go on to his hands/arms, his front legs. And I'm just going to roll these into teardrop shapes, and then like I did with the feet, indented little tootsies. Then after that, I wanted these feet bent, so I just pressed them with my finger and thumb and bent them ever so slightly. And then I just cut off the excess, leaving it kind of angled at a bias because this is going to be pressed up against his upper chest, which you'll see right here. After you do this and get them where you like, I got my rubber blending tool and I blended it in nice and smooth. Although this might be silicone, not rubber, but you get the drift. These are just nail tools anyways, I think. No, I think they're professional clay tools, so same thing, don't matter. Anywho, these 2 balls are going to be his ears, so we're going to roll these into teardrop shapes too. And you're going to want to cut off the excess, so right where the 1/2 inch line is, I just cut that off nice and flat. And then after that, I put the rest, like the excess clay, back in the pack, and then I took the triangle pieces, put the rounded part of it in my hand, and then just used the pointed tool to indent the inside of the ears. That might sound complicated, but just poke the tool to make the shape in the ears. Then I put it on his head where they needed to go, and I used a little bit of glue to keep it down. Next, we're going on to the white color clay, which is going to be all those Doritos you saw, and we're going to roll out all these balls right here. Kind of looks like a Christmas tree, but ignore that. Starting with the 4 in the front, I rolled these into pointed teardrop shapes, and they need to be super duper small, and then you just cut off the excess. Again, make them as small as possible. And then all 4 of these, I stuck them in his mouth, tried to make them as nice and neat as possible. The 2 top ones further apart and the lower ones closer together. Easy. Not really, it took a long time, but you get the drift. Now the other balls, I've used my thumbs and my index to kind of smush them into little triangle shapes. Then I got out my toothbrush and just gently dabbed them on the front and back and sides, to give them texture, as you can see here. Well, it might be hard to see, but they're bumpy and lumpy. Next, I used my soft chalk pastels and a little paint palette set that I got at Hobby Lobby. I used yellow, red, and orange. And then as you can see right here, I have 2 things with water, one to rinse the brush out and one to kind of add water to the pastels. Except for the orange, I didn't add any water to the orange. First, I started with the lightest color, so I did yellow. But I'm going to do red after this because I did the red wet, but I did the orange dry. Then I did the red. Once this was all dry and no longer moist, well, it was still slightly moist, I rolled it around into the orange colored pastel, as you can see here, so it had like a kind of grainy texture, more like a real Dorito. Then I put them on a paper towel and let them dry off. Once you let them dry off nice and clean, they're still going to stick to your finger a little bit with the chalk pastel. I took some Loctite glue and I glued them on the head, and as you can see here, I'm going to try to tell you how I did it. Starting with the one in the middle, at the top row, I glued that one in the center of the head. That one at the very top is his tail, so we don't need that. Then I just started alternating between the tops and the bottom ones, trying to keep the sizes consistent. And this was exactly how many spikes I needed. I just went all the way around the head, and it was the perfect amount. So if you do it just like how I did it, it should be perfect. Then the one excess one is for his tail, so I just took glue, and I'm just going to glue it to the top part of the tail. Just press it down with your finger, just like so. And that should be perfect. Next, we're going to get that pointer tool back from earlier, and you're going to indent into each single toe a hole so that we can add the claws into it later. As you can see right here, just poke them pretty good so that they're kind of deep too. Next, I moved on to the turquoise color right here, and I'm going to pre-roll all the balls that I need, just like before. And it's a lot of really tiny balls. Be patient, this step is going to get annoying fast, but We can do it. Starting with the first ball, you're going to just squish this between your fingers and thumb just like we did with the Doritos, and you're going to make it into a nose shape. But make this a lot smaller, obviously. After that, you're going to roll all those little balls into little pointed shapes, not teardrops because they're pointed on both ends. And then just stick them one by one into the toes and curl them downward. Again, this takes a long time, but just be patient with it. Next, I stuck in 2 black beads for the eyes, and we're getting ready to bake shortly, so after I stuck them in, I took them right back out, because these are plastic beads. They will melt in the oven. Don't bake plastic beads. I've learned that the hard way. Then I took rubbing alcohol to clean off the sculpture because it was looking pretty dirty, but don't clean the Doritos or all that chalk pastel will come right off. Then, well, I also used it to clean my workstation. The thing wasn't that dirty. Then I baked it for 350 degrees for 12 minutes because my oven is gas. If it's electric, it'll be 9 minutes because it cooks faster and hotter. While I was baking, I took one of these wooden bases and painted it a blue color with a paint palette set that I got from Walmart. And this is what it looks like. And while that was drying, the line came out the oven and it had to cool off too. And once it was cooled off, I used Loctite glue and glued in the plastic eyes. And then I got out the black paint and I painted the Dorito shaped logos onto the base and to his thighs on both sides. And I poked very gently little polka dots onto Doritos to kind of make the seasoning texture that's on a Dorito. Look at a Dorito real close. You'll see what I'm talking about. Next, I took this very light orange color and painted over the logos, because if you look at a Doritos logo, it's black, orange, and white. So then I also took the white. Make sure you let these layers dry before you go on to the next, obviously. Then I did the white over it, but it doesn't completely cover the logo, so I just kind of did it sparingly. Use a picture for reference to help you. Once all that's completely dry, use some E6000 and glue it down to the base. And once that's completely dry, use polyacrylic floor varnish and glaze it with 2 coats of glaze, at least 2. And then you're done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. There's still one more chip branded thing coming soon, creature coming soon. Stay tuned for that, but I might have a different video next week. But I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye, my bunnies.